President of the United States of America, Donald. President of the United States. President of the United States of America, Donald. President of the United States.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. I'm old enough to remember when a president openly mused while in office that he's secretly going to be running for a third term and run the country all by himself for as long as he damn well pleases. His name was Barack Obama, and when he said this.
Wish like you had a third term. You know what? If I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats, looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony. I'd be fine with it.
You remember the last 4 years with Joe Biden, where you could literally see the times when Joe Biden was using an earpiece and being fed the lines because what he was doing wasn't making any sense? This is legitimately, Barack Obama got his wish here. Okay. Now, I find it very interesting that it is Barack Obama who comes up when Donald Trump is asked about his recent musings of running for a third term. Would you, if you were allowed to run for a third term, asked a reporter, is there a thought that the Democrats could run Barack Obama? Donald Trump saying, "Oh, I'd absolutely love that. Boy, that would be a good one. I'd really like that." It's Donald Trump just straight up saying he wants an actual race against Barack Obama. He's technically run against Barack Obama in 2016 and in 2020 and in 2024, right? Obama had his fingerprints all over literally everything. The only reason that Joe Biden dropped out of the race in 2024 was Barack Obama. And I guess we could thank him for that. Donald Trump has regularly and often actually joked about running for a third term. Could it be possible? Well, the answer is absolutely yes, it could be possible. Donald Trump just said to NBC News that he's not joking about a third term presidential run. And of course, he's talked about it multiple times at multiple events. As you know, here's the presidential seal in front of him there, right? Trump's excited about it. Let's go. Trump saying, "Oh, sir, I don't think you can. Oh, they say you can't run again for president." Well. Looks like Donald Trump is thinking about it. He's now telling the media that he wants to run for a third term. And now we have something very unique and quite interesting. We have the top law enforcement official in the country, Pam Bondi, on national TV being asked about it. Pam Bondi would obviously be the person who would have a lot of authority over this, right? As the top law enforcement official, she's upholding the Constitution. The Constitution says that the president can only run for 2 terms, right? Don't have to be consecutive, but the president can only have 2 terms served, right? Donald Trump is on his 2nd term and it's non-consecutive. Some ways around this could potentially be Donald Trump running as vice president to J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance resigning, Donald Trump becomes president. The constitutional language says cannot be elected to the presidency 3 times, right? So what if Donald Trump just became president by other means? Just a thought. There are other ways to skin this cat, but here's Pam Bondi kind of shocking the reporter here on Fox News saying, yeah, maybe Trump will just run for a third term. There are ways to do it.
Matter about President Trump seeking a third term. He has said, quote, "There are methods." Is this just one of his epic trolls? Or does he or do you believe there is a method short of amending the Constitution by which he could seek a third term?
President Trump has served 1 full term. He's on his 2nd full term. He's a very smart man, and I wish we could have him for 20 years as our president, but I think he's going to be finished probably after this term.
Probably.
Well, the Constitution, we'd have to look at the Constitution.
It would be a heavy lift, and whether you get 2/3 of the Senate and House to go along with you, but is the concession that that's really the only way to do it?
It'd be a heavy lift.
Okay, Attorney General, we thank you for your time. We hope you'll come back soon.
Thank you. Okay. Talk about leading questions. I mean, and leading answers. So first off, Pam Bondi says probably he won't do that. All right. So you're saying there's a chance. And then 2, she says, yeah, it might be a lift, but we'd have to look at the Constitution. Again, the Constitution says no man can be elected twice to the presidency. President Trump could just run as vice president for the rest of his life. There's no constitutional limitations for that at all. And then with every presidential term, Donald Trump could just serve as either shadow cabinet, or he could become president by other means, right? Resignation of the president is one way to do it, right? You could also pass a constitutional amendment. You could also have President Trump just again, serving inside of a shadow cabinet, which is what Barack Obama just did. Steve Bannon, somebody who has popularized this theory, and Steve Bannon, take it away.
That President Trump will run and win again in 2028. So I've already endorsed President Trump. A man like this comes along once every century if we're lucky. We've got him now. He's on fire, and I'm a huge supporter. Want to see him again in 2028.
And obviously, anybody who doesn't like what you say but judges it as a function of a lack of intelligence doesn't know anything about you. I don't make that mistake. You're a smart guy. You know he's term limited. How do you think he gets another term?
We're working on it. I think we'll have a couple of alternatives. Let's say that. We'll see. We'll see what the definition. We'll see what the definition of term. We'll see what the definition of term limit is.
All right. Well, so you're talking about litigating this issue, because I don't want people to listen to our interview and say Bannon's cooking up an insurrection. Bannon is cooking up. I want people to get a straight take on where your head is. What are you suggesting?
Chris, as you know, I've had greater long shots than this. When we supported President Trump after the election, I realize you don't believe the election in 2020 was stolen. We do. We fervently believe that.
So, well, this is Steve Bannon saying it looks like they're going to challenge something in the court, right? We're going to see what the definition of a term limit is. Well, that sounds like a legal challenge, actually. Get the Supreme Court to define like a term, right? I'm under the impression, and I've made the case often, that President Trump had his first term robbed from him, that Donald Trump deserves 2 more terms because his first term was stolen from him through the federal government, rigging won elections against him, but also rigging hoaxes against him and special counsels and so on. Let's listen to President Trump himself talk about it. I mean, would this be the most important clip? Donald Trump going off for 2 minutes on Trump saying, I don't really want to talk about it, and then talking about it for 2 straight minutes on his plane. Man, it sounds like they're serious.
You said you were not joking about a third term, about possibly wanting a third term. Does that mean you're not planning to leave office on January 20th?
I'm not looking at that, but I'll tell you, I have had more people ask me to have a third term, which is, in a way, it's fourth term, because the other election, the 2020 election, was totally rigged. So it's sort of a fourth term in a certain way. I just don't want the credit for the second, because Biden was so bad. He did such a bad job. And I think that's one of the reasons that I'm popular, if you want to know the truth. I think I'm popular because we've done a great job. I think we've had the best almost 100 days of any president. And most people are saying that. And it's an honor. We're bringing back our country. We're respected as a country again. And we're strongly respected. And people are amazed. I was with some very important people today, and they said that they've never seen a turnaround of the country as fast as this. Even look at our border. We have nobody coming in. And you can't come into our country, but you have to come in legally. But we have nobody coming in to our country. It's almost shut down. They've never seen anything like this.
The Constitution limits a president to 2 terms. Is it your understanding that they have to be?
I don't even want to talk about it. I'm just telling you, I have had more people say, please run again. They said, we have a long way to go before we even think about that. But I've had a lot of people. Yeah, go ahead. Did you have something?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, do you think that's an appropriate precedent to set, even if it wasn't you in this position, to see a president serve a 3rd term?
I don't want to talk about a 3rd term now, because no matter how you look at it, we got a long time to go. We have a long time. We have almost 4 years to go. And that's a long time. But despite that, so many people are saying, you've got to run again. They love the job we're doing. Most importantly, they love the job we're doing.